Welcome to Lessons from the Sidelines. I'm Tom Crean, and I am a part of the Harbaugh Coaching Academy, and it is with great pleasure and honor I get to talk to one of the main people inside of this entire academy, and along with John, what Jim Harbaugh wanted to do to represent and honor their family's legacy, especially their mother and their father, has come into this, and it is with great pleasure that I get to introduce Los Angeles Chargers coach, my brother-in-law Jim Harbaugh. Welcome, Jim, to Lessons from the Sidelines.
Great to see you, Tom.
Yep, great to be with you. Let's start right now. When you get a win like you had with the Denver Broncos, and it comes down to the end of the game, and it's one of those pivotal games that can go either way. What is that locker room like when you get in there with your team?
Um, I wish I had the vocabulary to describe it. I don't. I mean, how good it felt, how happy I was. Everybody was in that locker room. It's the happiest place on earth. I know Disneyland has coined that, and it is a pretty happy place, Disneyland. But yeah, winning locker room to me, there's no more happier place on earth. I think the thing you're just so happy about is the never give up personality of your team, of your organization. Every player, every coach, every personnel, equipment manager, everybody, when they had that personality to never give up, never give in, uh, warms the cockles of the heart.
I've seen you do this for so long, and have seen that happen inside of your teams. But when you take over a program like you did with the Chargers, and there's so many things that have to get done, and you're coming off a national championship, which we're going to get into, what are the first couple things that you want to do to establish that you're going to build that confidence in other people, or you're going to help bring that confidence out in other people?
I think it really all the things I've really been taught. I learned from my dad, Jack Harbaugh, my mom, Jackie Harbaugh. Really everything I know, they've taught me, and everything I learned on my own, I feel like were things that I know that they were things that my mom and dad told me when I was growing up. I just didn't hear uh, at the time, and then something that Mark Herbert, Justin Herbert's dad, told them. He coached them growing up, and it was four things that I said, man, this just boils everything that down to four things that I was taught and learned along the way. And Tom, number one, this is what Mark Herbert would tell his kids and the players that he coached was give it your very best. Number two, get better. Number three, treat others as you would want to be treated. And number four, never give up. Uh, and I go back to my own life. I mean, it's just everything boiled into that. Um, Number one, give it your very best. Make sure that you have given it your very best. Then you will feel good about what you have accomplished. And number two, get better. Get better. Very, very, very self-explanatory. Better today than yesterday. Better tomorrow than today. Um, the plan that improvement will lead to success. Improvement will lead to success theory. So simple that it just might work. And number three, treat others as you would want to be treated. Biblical, uh, right out of the Bible, right from our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Uh, Treat others as you would want to be treated. And that is in every interaction, to with its, your family, your kids at home, the players that you coach, those that you work with, um, a heart for just doing anything and everything you can to help somebody else um, be the best version of themselves on and off the field. Um, I mean, in numerous ways that is so good, personally and for another person and for your team and for your organization. And then, number four, also pretty self-explanatory there. I mean, never give up, never give in, never never quit. Um, just how how powerful that is in believing. Not just when it's going good, not just when it's going good, give it your very best. Not just, but when it gets tough, when things, because it's going to get tough. It's going to be
Hmm.
hard. And then I added a fifth in there uh, to Mark Herbert's rules, and that was do all four things. Give it your best, get better, treat others as you'd want to be treated, and never give up. Do all four of those things, fill in the blank. Whether you're happy, you're sad, whether you're sore or tired, or whether you've been respected or disrespected, or treated well or mistreated. If you can do all four of those things, fill in the blank, uh, great things are going to happen for you.
That says a lot because it says you. And as I sit here and listen to you talk like that, there's a couple different thoughts that come. But the one I want to go to, which has always stood out to me about you watching your teams, whether you go all the way back to USD, is, and I've said this to many, many people, I said, you get people to believe that they are more competitive and tougher than they might be at that time until they actually are. And I've seen it. I've seen it. And I don't care if it's the NFL. I don't care if it's Stanford or Michigan. I don't know your Charger team that well, but it's playing out. There's everybody. Nobody can play football or coach football without a high level of toughness, without a high level of competitiveness, without a high level of belief. But you take that to another place. I mean, you really do. And what do you when you take over a team? When you take over, and let's talk about the Chargers now, because the other thing you've done is you've gone into either storied universities, very prestigious universities like Stanford, like Michigan, like USD, or storied programs like the 49ers or the Chargers, and you've had to reinvigorate it, you've had to re-energize it, revitalize it, whatever you want to use. When you walk in, what's your you bring the most out of people. But like, what's your 30,000 foot view when you walk in about how you're going to go about that, and maybe building the infrastructure that you want to build inside of your locker room, your team, and not just the schemes, but how you want to. How do you see it when you take it over?
Um, I mean, the first thing that pops to mind is I want to treat other people how I want to be treated. As a longtime player, I can I remember how I like to be treated. And I want how I wanted to be coached. Uh, and it's in it's encouragement. You want to encourage people. And if you broke down that word, it'd be making them more confident, making them more courageous, which would be much better than the opposite, which would be discouragement. Then you'd be giving them less courage. You'd be giving them less confidence. And and I think back through my, you know, playing career, growing up, uh, all those all those things. I mean, there was intense belief that I could do it. That I could that I was I had a lot of self-confidence, maybe sometimes over belief, and then there was times that I didn't believe in myself, and there was times that it was in between, and it could run the whole gamut. Um, and as I look back, I go, well, there was at least one person who believed in me, and that was my dad. Throughout my entire and my mom throughout my entire life. Um, they thought I was good. They thought I was a good kid. They thought I was, they saw something in me that, that they wanted to be around me and they wanted to coach me. They wanted to. So yeah, I look back, I go, who's my favorite coach of all time? That's it's my dad and mom. They always gave me the best advice. They were always in my corner. They were always for me, and everybody needs somebody like that. Everybody needs that person. And I look at Sister Agnes, my third grade teacher, like where she liked me, she believed in me, she encouraged me. My high school basketball coach, Clem Weiser, was was amazing. My uncle Jerry Harbaugh. I have a list. Uh, Bo Schembechler, uh, Mike Ditka, Lindy Infante. Uh, just my brother. There's and probably nobody's had a better brother uh, than I have. I mean, at every point, helped me, told me when I was doing right, told me when I was doing wrong, but always believed in me. I think we just all need that. We all need that person. We all need um, that family member that is for you and or coach. And so there, I say, like, to say that, like, all of us in coaching, or in a family relationship, you have the ability to be that person. You have the ability to be, somebody's brother. Here you are, Tom. I'm looking right at you. I mean, you have been a brother to me, uh, and hopefully I've been that. For you, there's been
Absolutely.
that trusted agent, that known friend that you have in your life, and I've been blessed to have. I mean, it's up there pretty high. It's
Sure.
probably over the course of my entire life. I mean, it's probably over six, seven. Maybe even a dozen. I mean,
No,
who's
that's
got it better
beautiful.
than us?
And
You
that's
know,
true. And I think like, and I knew this conversation would go that way in the sense of having some things I wanted to talk about, but also moving in the direction that it was leading. And I would say this: when I look at your family, when I look at how you guys been raised, and obviously I wasn't there, been a part of it for 32 years in marriage to Joni, and a few more years before that in the dating. But like when you hear the stories, here's what I would say: I would say that all three of you were totally protected as from your parents, but never coddled, never babied, right? Never, right? But protected, and I think you guys knew that, and like any kids, people are going to push the envelope, but you knew the love, and it's just been incredible to watch it. Let me ask you this. I think people would really like this, okay? I was going to ask you about what advice would you give to parents of young athletes, but I think it goes more than just young athletes. What advice would you give now in the way this world continually tries to change how people are supposed to parent and how people are supposed to push and how people are supposed to demand? What advice would you give parents based on what you know as a parent and based on how you've been raised?
yeah, I think you really kind of where I was going in my own mind is. I mean, it would be advice, but it would be more of you got the opportunity. It's an opportunity that you have, um, as a child of God, as a parent, as a son, as a daughter, as a sister, as a brother. Um, you have that opportunity to uh, be the best, be the best dad ever. Um, to be the best coach of all time, the greatest of all time coach, every single person has that opportunity to be the best teacher, the best friend that somebody has ever had, and it doesn't, you can't compare yourself to any other coach, because to that person that you're coaching, or that person that you're parenting, or that brother that you have, or that sister you have, or that brother-in-law that you have, you've got the opportunity to be their best coach. Who's the best teacher you ever had? Wow, that'd be Sister Agnes, my third grade teacher. Best coach you ever had, Jack Harbaugh. We all have that opportunity in our life, so go at it. Go have at it, and go be the best. Because when it's all said and done, you'll be that person's favorite coach, or maybe second favorite, or top five, or top 10. So yeah, I strive for that. I strive to have that long and trusting friendship, with you, with John, with my dad, my mom, my sister Joni, and those who I coach, and the most important job, which is my God-given responsibility, is to be the best husband that that my wife has ever had, and to be the best dad that my kids have ever had, and be the best grandfather that my grandkids have had. I mean, that's like, an amazing opportunity that we have, and should be attacked with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
I've seen you. I've seen you so many times. I mean, the relationships that you build with your players, with your former teammates. I mean, those kind of things. We could talk for hours about that. But I want to hit this a little differently on this, because I think this is another one of your great strengths, and it's not easy. Number one, I've never seen you really, and John is like this because your parents are like this. You look across the table and you're able to see things from that person's point of view. And you don't have to know that person extremely well to see it from their point of view. You can put yourself in other people's shoes. I mean, it's a real trait, right? But the other thing that you do when you take over is you don't really listen to other people on what they saw as a fault with a player, or what they saw as a problem with a player, or what they saw as an attitude issue with a player. You make your own judgments, right? You make your own. You have your own opinion on that. How do you attack a relationship that could go either way in so many cases based on what somebody has said? And even though you don't have the time invested in it yet because you haven't been there long enough, what are some of the key things you do to build into those relationships of somebody that maybe other people didn't really believe in?
Hmm. I mean, my answer there is more the same, really, Tom. It's my dad's got this saying, and the first time I heard it was when we were in Iowa City. I was like 6, my brother was 8, and we had a car that we drove from Ohio to Iowa, and then one day it just wasn't there, and Dad used to drive us to school, and we walked out of the house, and we're like, "Where's the car, Dad?" "No car today, boys. We're walking. Grab a basketball. Get 100 with the right, 100 with the left. Who's got it better than us?" "Nobody, Dad. Nobody." And nobody could possibly have it better in that moment. And so when I think, it's an obvious perspective, right? I mean, obvious perspective at looking at life. Who could have it better than us? Nobody. We got each other. We got love. We got a basketball here. We get to take a leisurely stroll to school. I mean, of how you look at it, and then even it's a deeper layer of, well, yeah, there's no car. Other people got a car. Other people got, they must have it better, or a bigger house, or more money or something. But but we get to work on our ball handling here. We get to overcome something. So it's almost like ankle weights is the other layer to that, and the other layer is like, who could have it better than us when you really think about it? Future us? Future us is the only person I could think of that could really have it better than us. Um, and then the last thing I think about, which is whenever I say that to my kids at home or to my team, to the players and coaches and my family at work, what I'm really saying to them when I say who could have it better than us, what I'm really saying is there's no coach who could have it better than to have you kids or you players. And then what I hear when they say nobody back, what I'm really hearing is, yeah, we like the direction. We like being here. We like being part of this family. We like the direction that it's going. That's what I really hear. So I just think people make the mistake of whether it's judging their own situation or judging um, a player or their talents or their own talents, that they find the positives. I mean, really look for the positives rather than what somebody can't do. And that's my least favorite thing to hear in the entire world. Somebody say, well, he can't do that. Uh, he hasn't done it yet. I'll give you that. He hasn't done it yet, but uh, can't? I mean, you have no way. You're a man. You're a person. You have no way of knowing what the future holds. Um, I'd use a basketball analogy. Well, he can't do something or hasn't done it yet, but he can shoot. He can shoot from the corner. You know. So let's put him in the corner and have him shoot because he nails all of those. There's uh there's something that that he's, yeah, let's look instead of like sleuthing out the negatives. Let's find the what they can do well, and then we'll work on the other things, as we go.
One of and that leads to this because when you're talking, I think about so many different instances of things, and one thing that really helped me in my coaching, especially at Indiana, and I always did it, but I didn't do it to the level that I did it at Indiana. Was I spent a ton of time with the guys that weren't playing, right? I spent a ton of time with the walk-ons. I spent a ton of time with the younger players, and a lot of that, as far as like being out there on the court, like we might have a film session after practice, and some of the assistant coaches may take the main guys, but I'd stay out there with the graduate assistants and some coaches and the guys that weren't playing a lot, and we would continue to get better. I got that from you, or I got the way you have to go about it from you. You have done this for so long, where at the end of the week you take the guys that they're not just scout teamers to you or rookies. They are future players. They are future contributors to your team. And I think a lot of people probably do it, but I don't know if many people do it with the aura that you bring to it. As far as being out there inside of that, treating them like they are the most important players on your team in that moment. And you've kind of alluded to it already, but where does that come from? Like when you go out there and you're with those players and you're locked into making them better at the end of the week, what are you trying to get across to them? What do you want them to know about their future with the Chargers?
We call it an opportunity squad. That it's back to how you would want to be treated, how I would want to be treated.
I figured you'd say
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's yeah, I want to. If I'm a player, I want to be coached. And if really if you're gonna be somebody's favorite coach, uh, then you're gonna give them attention. That's, I mean, we want to talk about love. I mean, love is attention, and there's just there's not too many people I can think of that just have the complete monopoly. Like I don't think God always gives a monopoly to maybe Justin Herbert. Maybe Justin Herbert is is one person I can think that he's got it all. But yeah, I mean, we're not. We all have our talents, and yeah, but not everybody's going to be, have the strong arm or the be then gifted athletically and fast and smart and everything. So yeah, let's look at the positives. Like let's try to get as good as we can at what we're really good at, and then there are other things that we can work on and get better. So that should be just a daily, weekly, monthly, uh, yearly process, for all of us as not get too down on ourselves, for something that somebody else has a little bit better or can do better. You know, let's uh, let's give it our very best and see if we can get better as we go here. I mean, it's gosh, we got it pretty good. Let's keep rolling. And I like, and also I'm attracted to guys or people when it comes to football that like football. Uh, if and guys that like football like me, and I like them back, and then we roll. So I can't really spend enough time, when it comes to something I love like football to want to get out there and help somebody else be the best version of themselves as a football player.
No, it makes great sense. I mean, it really does. And you're summing up, basically, and what you're talking about is summing up where so many of these strengths and successes have come from. And we'll go back to the Chargers in a minute, but I want to hit Michigan because again, you had to build that program twice, right? You took it over, and you took the players that were there, you made them better, you had the wins. Well, then all of a sudden, COVID hits, things of that nature, and it's not a great year, obviously. But then it just became an extraordinary time. I mean, so I look at that as you really had to do it twice. When you were recruiting your championship level team, the team that kept going to the playoffs, and you brought those guys in, the J.J. McCarthy's and the Blake Corms and all those kind of people, what were some of the common denominator characteristics that you wanted to make sure you were bringing into the Michigan program? Because you were already having success, right? But things did change, right? They changed and obviously everybody's from different backgrounds, but watching the complete connectivity of resolve that those guys had and the unflinchingness that they would be in those games was unbelievable. And when you get synergy like that, there's got to be some common characteristics that were a big part of how you recruit.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing probably, and the biggest thing on the list was I really started recruiting the parents, and I really wanted to. I was spending most of the time with the parents and or the grandparents, the uncles, whoever would come on the visit, because I wanted to know what was poured into that youngster, from the time that they could toddle, and when you're around the family, then the picture just became really clear to me. In terms of work ethic, in terms of the real sense of who they were, and good person. And sometimes it just more if it's all around just the youngster, like at 17, 18, 19, I didn't know who I was. I mean, I was still evolving, still being determined and shy and not wanting to talk. I mean, even when I knew the answer to something, somebody would ask me, I didn't want to say the wrong thing, or sometimes I would over talk. I mean, just didn't know, maybe had made a mistake and, I was trying to, make that right at the time. I, just don't know, and So not always can you get that just talking to the youngster, but you sure can get it from from the family and what they poured into them, and just a general principle of I just want to be around good people, uh, and good, honest, hardworking, uh, you know, people. In not even talking football anymore, just talking every aspect of your life. Um, get around good people and let them rub off on you. And it's not that the bad ones are. I don't want to do them any harm, but I just don't want to get too close to where they rub off on me. And just trying to build a program uh, and just a life, surrounded by uh, really good people. And when I say bad people, I'm really it's more like you just know it when you hear them talk or you're around
Exactly.
them. You
How they
know
treat their families, how the players treat their families, how they talk to their families, like those things,
how they
they're
talk to
so
their
huge.
mom, how they treat their mom, or just what they
Exactly.
say. I mean, the pontificators would be a
Yeah.
word that comes to
Good
mind,
word.
or
That's a big vocabulary word right there. That's a good one.
au contraires, or um, it's this shameless self promotion, talking bad about other people,
Yeah.
wanting to sabotage, you know, uh, others.
You're so
It's
right. I mean, you're so right. And
and I
here's
don't
another
want to do them any harm. I just don't want to get.
exactly. You don't want them around, and you can't win with them. You can't win. And this is another thing with you that I think is so big because USD, it was like this. You were new to the game, but there were academic standards. We always say when you went to Stanford, you were recruiting to your personality and to academics. You weren't recruiting to football tradition. You weren't recruiting like the USCs and people like that were recruiting. You were recruiting to who you were, and you were recruiting to academics. In this day and age,
And that's to say, Tom, too, that there were. I I didn't have there's no bad kids. I mean the kids. I mean there's no. I'm
a lot of
not
times
talking
they
about
just
bad.
they don't know that they don't know, right? It's
They're we're all still developing at that age,
sure,
and really until you're probably 25 or so is your brain like not
sure.
fully not fully developed.
Well, and there's another thing with the academics because in this day and age, whether it's the portal, whether it's the NIL, all the different changes that have come in college sports right now, it's almost like you never ever hear about graduation rates. You don't hear about those types of things, and you put a lot of stock into academics. And I know not just to GPA, and I think for the people that are going to be listening to this podcast, there's no bad listener to hear this. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, whether you don't even like sports, the value of making sure that you understood somebody was not only capable of coming in and doing the work at a place like Michigan, but that they were willing to do the work. What did you look for outside of just looking at somebody's I know test scores are important. I know GPAs are important, but what did you really look for when you wanted to dive in and study about where somebody was going to put the value of academics in your program?
Um, yeah, it's it's not that it would just it's never been that it's never really been that intellectual, Tom. It's never been like something that's and this is something I learned from my dad because I watched him through 40 years of coaching. Um, and I saw the players that he would they'd come over for dinner on Thursday nights. I knew how he talked about them, and how much he loved them. He loved his family at home and he loved his family at work, and specifically, uh, you know, my mom. He loved her. He loved us kids. We knew that, and he loved the players that he coached. And so what I learned from that is like I'm going to treat my kids at home the same way that I treat the players that I coach because I'm at that age now, that father age, and I'm not going to treat the players I coach any differently than the kids at home, and I'm not going to treat the kids at home any differently than the players I coach. So uh, it just makes everything so easy. when you do. So how do I feel about academics? Well,
Well, no, and that's a
number
great
one,
point.
I want my
It has
kids at
the
home.
value of it. Yeah,
Tom, I'm telling you straight up. That's the simple, easy way I do it.
makes
Yeah, I
sense.
want my kids at home. Number one. I know they're playing sports, but number one, I mean they gotta get a good education.
Sure.
They gotta give it their very best in the classroom, and their very best. Not doesn't have to be if their very best is a is a is a C, then gosh, that's I'm going to feel good about what they accomplish.
Sure.
If it's an A, then yeah, I want them shooting for the A. But yeah, we're gonna get a good degree. We're gonna get a meaningful degree, and we're gonna attack school with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. That's the same way I feel about the players. When they're in high school and when they're in college, like that's the most important thing.
No,
Is
I agree with you, and I think it's whether it's football, whether it's basketball. I can't name a player that I've coached that was at the top of their game basketball wise, but was also doing the bare minimum academically, right? Because again, they go hand in hand, right? And it's not about the grade point; it's about your willingness to work and try and want to learn. And and,
Well,
and you hit that. You hit
well,
that.
Tom, I remember, I mean, like it was yesterday. I mean, when you took the Indiana job, I mean, there wasn't. I think the rate was like zero, and there wasn't one eligible player on the team, and that's the thing that you attacked day one with study tables and time on before we ever even got on the basketball court. It was to make sure that the guys realized the importance of their studies.
Yeah, no question. If I'd have seen where the grades were on day two or on day one, like I saw them on day two, I would have never taken the job. I mean, you can't. It was just so gone. But I mean, again, that's what we're talking about is like getting people that really want to do it and do it to their best. And I want to parlay into this because we could talk about your team. We could talk. I want to hit a couple things on confidence, and one is this. Justin Herbert's a great example right now because he's playing at a high level. You took a really, really good player and you're making him that much better. What are the key attributes that a teammate, okay, sees in gaining or having confidence in the player outside of that player's abilities? Because obviously Justin's abilities are great, but it's so much more than that. What are those things that a teammate and or teammates saw in you or you saw in other people? What are those qualities that people are looking for, when they're following somebody like Justin Herbert?
Yeah, it starts with training. That's when you can really you can prove yourself to your teammates uh, in the training environment. Uh, there every day. I mean, I call it TED. There every day. Uh, and when you see that from yourself, it just gives you a confidence, and in your teammates when they know you're going to be there every single day, and uh, and you're going to be training at uh, at the highest level. And when it's a great player like Justin Herbert, people would be okay. Well, he's not, but when he is, and he's training, nobody's training harder than he is. Or if you're Derwin James, and he's honestly I call it the best safety I've ever seen. He's the best football player. He's the best football player I've ever seen. Uh, I didn't give him enough credit. He's the best football player I've ever been around. And nobody outtrains um, Derwin James. I was listening to a morning show, a football show, and they were talking about a pro player, and they were kind of debating like, well, if you have success um, or confidence, which is it? And they said, is it the chicken or the egg? What comes first? Having success or having confidence? Um, I would say what comes first is training. Uh, when you train yourself in the training environment, that's where the being a good player. That's where being being a confident player first starts is in that training environment. Like, yeah, I can do this. I feel myself, turning into a, supremely conditioned athlete or strong athlete, a better athlete. Um, that training environment. Or if you took it to academics, it'd be, in the study environment. You know that that's where I think it first comes, and that's where you asked where does the confidence in your teammate come from. It's also you're doing the work, and then you're looking over there seeing somebody else doing the work, and wow, he's really good at that. I'm gonna try to see if I can't get to uh, you know 100 more pounds on my squat. I wish I could squat 315. Uh, it's a beautiful thing where you just lift each other up, and that's where that confidence comes from. And then it gets to the point where where I'm at right now is uh, I see what our players and our coaches do, and everybody in the organization is humming. I mean, they do their job at a elite level, every single department, and they double check, they triple check, they quadruple check. I mean, they just want it to be so good, and they work so hard at it that every day when I come into this facility, I go by our guard gate. Uh, Mr. Smith, who was in the armed forces, he gives me a welcome back, coach, and a salute, and like, I got to be good. I got to come in here every day with an attitude of, can I measure up? Will I do enough today to help us be successful? I even put a sign out at the parking lot that asked the question, did I do enough today? And
Good.
I really just,
Where's that at? When they drive out or when they pull in, they see that sign?
when they walk out,
When they walk out, they see that sign.
when they walk out to the parking lot, they go past the "Did I do enough today?" And I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, but I really just put it there for myself because I gotta answer that question every single day when I leave here, and every day I go by that guard gate shack. I mean gate. It's not a shack. It's a nice little building. Uh, yeah. Will I measure? Am I man enough? Am I man enough to today? Because you're about to coach uh, the one of the greatest, if not greatest, quarterbacks to ever play this game, and the greatest football player to ever play this game, and a whole bunch of guys that are doing anything and everything in their power to help us win a football game. That's the environment I'm walking into, and dang sure better measure up. Hope I'm man enough.
Well, another area where you measured up is in so many areas, but when you were done playing, and you could have done so many different things, right? You could have gone to work in the media field of radio
I
broadcasts
wouldn't have
for
been
the
any good at
Colts,
that. I would not
huh?
have been any good at that.
Well, but you could have, right? You could have done that. You could have joined the Board of Regents, I believe, at Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. You had different
No,
opportunities.
never offered that either.
Oh, I've been pretty sure. But that's I heard that from the family. Governor Egler, I thought he wanted you to be on the Board of
Really?
Regents. I
I
think
never, I
so.
never got that
I'm pretty
memo.
sure. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't
I think
forget
I'd
that.
have been a
You almost
lawnsman. I think
did.
I'd have been a good lawnsman. I think I could have. That's right.
Yeah.
Manual labor. I'm good at that.
Well, you did go manual labor. You went quality control in an NFL franchise. So you
Yeah.
go to the Raiders, and we'll close with this, and because what you did to have the
Been 45
humility.
minutes already? I didn't think there's any
We'll keep
possible
going
way
then.
I could talk
Yeah,
for
we'll
45
keep
minutes.
going. We'll keep going with the humility and the hunger that is really not normal, maybe for somebody that had the kind of career that you had in football to then go and literally, when we talk about manual labor, to literally go to the bottom of the well to start in football, right? And you love football, so you're not viewing it that way. But then I think about what you're doing with Navarro Bowman, a guy that was a fantastic player, great leader. I used to watch him in basketball. He could have easily been a Division I point guard, and no question about it. Playing for
You got a
DCS.
son who's really good right now, Tom.
Oh, I
You've
believe it.
always got
I
played
believe it.
really
He
good.
was really good. He was tough. But here he is. I believe his first coaching job was with you, correct?
Navarro's?
Yeah.
He was coaching at Maryland. He was
Okay, but
coaching
you bring him into the
linebackers at
NFL,
Maryland.
right? So you bring him into the NFL. And I read what you say. I hear you raving about him. You raved about him as a player. You're raving about him as a coach. You spend 2 years in Oakland, and anybody that wants to dive into your career should always start with your coaching career there, based on the way that you did it. But what advice do you give to Navarro as far as a young coach that you got from your father and you got probably from John, but maybe you also wish you'd have gotten it from other people when you first started, because you were very self-made as a coach and the way that you attacked it. But not everybody's like that. Not everybody thinks they got to start at the bottom of the ladder. Not everybody thinks they're going to go from the highs of highs to being somebody that's making copies and cutting film and getting coffee. But you did it, right? And a lot of people see this NFL, Super Bowl level future Hall of Famer head coach. Well, that's not how you started. And then obviously you went to USD after that, rather than taking the different route as an assistant. But what's the advice you'd give? Because I think you're an unbelievable expert on what the truth is for young people or people that want to go from a playing career into a coaching career, understanding how hard and how challenging it is, and how you truly have to be humble and hungry and check your ego at the door when you get there.
Yeah, just my advice to Navarro was, the love and attention and the coaching that you're giving your son. Um, Treat the players the same way. The players that you coach, and you could be their favorite player. Yeah, I was a quality control coach at the Raiders, but I also knew I got a chance to be Ronald Curry's maybe favorite coach that he's ever had. Maybe I can get Rick Myers, top five. Marcus Tuiasosopo, maybe I can help him and get in the top 5 or 10. Um, and then the USD, I mean, it was hundreds. We just had a 20-year reunion, and you know, guys told me that I was their favorite coach that they ever had, and that's hard. It's hard in college. It's hard in pro because the guys already had their favorite coach. But that that's the true um, satisfaction that somebody gets from coaching, somebody gets from parenting is you got the opportunity to be somebody's favorite coach or in the top three or top five. I mean, you got the opportunity to do that. I mean, boy, go for that. Go for that. Go. You got a chance to be the most helpful and influential in making somebody else the best version of themselves. That is a worthy way to spend your time
Yeah,
and energy, and your
sure.
heart and soul uh, can be put
And
into
not
that.
at one point did you ever talk about how hard that job was, how taxing it was, how many hours you spent based on having that attitude. And I think
It's
that's
just
what so many younger people miss. They get into coaching right now for the wrong reasons. I see it in basketball all the time. They get into it because of what they think the salaries are going to be. I can't imagine the pay cut you took to be a quality control coach after some of the paydays you had as a quarterback in the NFL. But it didn't matter. That's what you wanted to do, and I think that's so important. Another thing that I think is
I've got as much fulfillment, in coaching, uh, whether it was this. Whether it was a pro coach or college coach, uh, assistant head USD. I mean, the same, um, great feeling of joy and and love that I have coaching these
you
coaching
see
these
it. I
teams
say
in
I
the
tell people
NFL.
all the time, you take the highest level of football and you bring the junior high out in people. You know, you bring the junior high and the high school out. The initial love of football. Maybe it's even earlier. Maybe it's flag football. I don't know. But whenever somebody decides they love football, you bring that out in them in the way that you coach them. And I think it's the same way in the NFL. And I haven't been there every day, but I've seen so much of it. And I think that's a big thing. And I think another question, because he's such an important part to you, and it's another reason I think that you understand that success is so much more than you or a couple of players. It's a team. And when we find a right hand and a left hand, we're so fortunate in coaching because it doesn't always work that way. And it's people have titles, people have jobs, but when you have people that are totally engrossed in having a vision like you have it and cover the things that you're not there for every day to see makes all the difference in the world. And for you right now at Michigan and in LA, that's Ben Herbert. And we could talk about Ben Herbert forever. You got great coaches on your staff. You've had great coaches on your staff. You've turned out head coaches. You'll turn out more. But there's something different about Ben Herbert. I mean, he is, I don't like that term one of one, but I'll use it for him because he's one of one.
It's appropriate.
And
It's
I'm
appropriate.
sorry.
It's appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What when I say Ben Herbert, what just stands out to you about just the way that he operates, the way that he builds your team? And for those that people don't know, he is the strength and conditioning coach, coordinator, but he oversees all of it. And you have an incredible pulse for your football team. I'm sure he's sitting there right there, you know, with a great pulse as well. What is it about him?
Whatever he tells me, I believe it. I trust it. If he tells me to do something, then I believe him. I trust him. He I don't know. Let me say it this way: like somebody that, and that's what you have to do. Like I've just seen it over and over. Like trust Ben. You know how many times? You know how many times I've seen a player or a coach put their trust in Ben Herbert and then have it not work out for them.
I doubt you've seen it.
Zero.
Exactly. I
Zero
believe it.
times.
I believe it.
Zero times have I seen somebody, hey, let me work with you. Trust me. Uh, let's do this, this, and this. Okay. Are you doing that? Let's not do that. Try it again. You know, he shows them, he tells them, lets them do, and then they do it. And then he tells them what they did right, tells them what they did wrong, and then they do again. Uh, it's it's coaching and teaching at the highest level with Coach Ben Herbert. And yeah, if I could sum it up in like I trust him and I put my trust in him and I do what he tells me to do, how he tells me to do it, exactly how he tells me to do it, and it keeps working out. So yeah,
I
uh,
love
who,
it. He
nobody's got
is.
it better than have a Ben
You
Herbert.
know, he's something else. There's no doubt about it.
How many guys have put their trust in Ben Herbert and have it not work out for him?
Yeah, you can go
Zero.
back to the Wisconsin days. I've heard Scott Tolzien talk about him,
Yeah.
going all the way back to those days. What
He's a
you've
lot of
done,
people's favorite coach.
I believe it.
He's a
I
lot.
believe it. Well, let's talk. Speaking of favorite coaches, we're going to end with this one. Okay, the Jim Harbaugh. There's a poster in front of you right there, and it is your Mount Rushmore of football coaches. Okay, and I'm pretty sure Jack Harbaugh is going to take the first spot.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet on John being in the next spot. Who
Yeah.
gets the third and fourth spot on Mount Rushmore of the Jim Harbaugh favorite all-time football coaches? Famous, not famous, NFL, college, high school makes no difference. Who are they for you?
I wrote this down. It was so many.
You didn't know the question was coming.
No, I was thinking about it myself. I was
Okay.
thinking about it myself because so I would can I take a pause here and look? I thought I put this on my phone in the notes part. 'Cause it was a really long, incredible list.
Well, you may not want to pick two then. Maybe we'll just call it a half Rushmore and just call it Jack and John.
Um, yeah, but I would be leaving out you. I would be
No, no, I'm
leaving
not
out
football. You got to
no,
go with
Uncle
football. Go with
Jerry.
football.
Oh,
Go with football.
non just football, all football
Yep.
coaches.
Yep.
Boy, I had this. Jack Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, uh, Dave Adolph. That's I had a whole list. Lindy Infante, uh, Greg Roman, uh, Jesse Minter, Jerry Harbaugh, my uncle, um,
Probably Bo in there somewhere.
Bo Schembechler,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
Um, that's the thing. I had a whole like.
No, that's pretty good. That's a tough question
We're
because
taping. We're taping this, right? Can we?
yeah.
Can we stop and like? I wrote this down. Ben Herbert.
Oh yeah. Well, it's your podcast. Your name's on it, so we can have as many on Mount Rushmore as you want. So that's a good way to do it. It's not fair to ask.
Yeah, I definitely. Jack Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, uh, Ben Herbert, Dave Adolph,
Adolph one's a big one for
Bo
you.
Schembechler, Lindy Infante, uh, Greg Roman, Jesse Minter. Oh, Jay Harbaugh. Jay Harbaugh is the rising superstar uh, of my side of the family, anyway. Jay Harbaugh is an incredible coach. 7 years with him at Michigan, and and a lifetime of. He is like, there's me. He is like, whoo, going right by me. Did you see what he did? His special teams unit this past weekend.
I didn't see this weekend. I saw last weekend.
95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Punt return for a touchdown. Longest, I think, in Seahawks history, and maybe the first touchdown punt return in 10 years. They had a 65-yard kickoff return, and they blocked a punt. They call that a
Wow,
trifecta, Tom. Trifecta.
that's pretty impressive. That's pretty
Jack
impressive.
Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, Ben Herbert, Jay Harbaugh tied. Dave Adolph, Bo Schembechler.
There you go. That's a great list, and other people that were mentioned. So that's a great
And
list.
others.
Well, Jim,
Can you
this has
edit
been
that?
great. We appreciate you taking the time, obviously, and so many lessons. You epitomize what this is, but it's not only lessons from the sidelines with you. It's lessons from the office, the film room, uh, building. Just been awesome. We tried to hit a lot of different things, but it all comes down to that you are absolutely excited about each and every day that you have and what you're doing, and you bring people along with that, and you just expect them. If they have a little bit of enthusiasm, you're going to help them get the rest of it, and I think that's a heck of a leadership quality. So thank you for being on this, and go Chargers.
Well, I got to thank Jack Harbaugh. I got to thank Jack Harbaugh for any enthusiasm. Who famously told my brother John and I when they was dropping us off at school when I was in first grade, John was in third. Boys, attack this day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Grab your lunch boxes and don't take any wooden nickels. Make it a great day.
And you've lived it out, and you're living it out. That's the best. Now, Jack Harbaugh's got his spot on the Mount Rushmore of all of us. So there's no doubt about that. So
Favorite coach. Greatest of all
thanks,
time. Now,
Jim.
there you go.
Yep.
He is the greatest coach
Yep.
of all time. And I know that for a fact. And a lot of players that he's coached
Yeah.
would say the same thing. So that
Well, he's got
that
two
makes him
sons.
the
He's
that
got
makes
two
him the
sons that are
greatest. That
trying to
makes him the
bring.
greatest of all time. Now maybe to somebody else, they have a favorite coach or a favorite teacher or but bottom line is we all have that opportunity, you know?
Sure.
Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, we got a chance to be the best dad or the best coach that somebody has had, and that's all that really matters.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's a beautiful thing, and you and John live it out every day, trying to make sure that.
So do you, Tom Crean.
Oh yeah, I do too. I do, but I married into the blood. You guys got the blood, so
Ah, you got
great
it.
job.
You
Great
got
job. Appreciate it. This has
it.
been a
Thank
great
you.
podcast. Thank you from Lessons from the Sideline and the Harbaugh Coaching Academy. This is Tom Crean. Thank you very much for watching.